Today I'm going to be making a stationery box. When it's finished, it's going to look like this. It's just I'm going to be using some different paper. This is made using an AccuCut gram mark die. And the die is huge, so you really kind of have to address this in chapters. I have some large sheets of medium to heavyweight chipboard, and that's how I cut the base. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it with just some black acrylic paint so that the areas that the scrapbook paper may not cover will still look cohesive. I have gone ahead and creased this box. It does have score marks. When you crease something as heavy as this, you want to have the actual creases on the inside of the box. Otherwise, it may crack, and that is not a really nice finished look. In this case, it probably wouldn't really matter as I'm using some graphic 45 paper. This is going to be the retired French country design, as this project is being made for a lady that's elderly as a gift for her. Alright, now that we have this painted and dry, I'm going to be using this Yes paste. You can buy it from Amazon. It's well worth the money because it does not cause bubbles. It will lay flat, things hold on strong. If yours ever gets too gunky or it's too thick, just add a little water and let it sit. And it's even nicer to use. If you have an aversion to stuff being on your hands, obviously I do not. I suggest wearing rubber gloves or something, but you really don't need it. This is actually one of those Dollar Tree plastic cutting mats. You get 2 for $1. I own a lot of them, and I really love them. This is the top of the box, and to give you some idea, this part right here is going to tuck into this part right here. These are called tuck closure boxes for a reason, because you literally, everything tucks in and it seals itself up. You can use glue to do this, but you really don't need to. Right here, where these two meet together, I'm going to cut this off. Now this does have a score line. And I'm going to go ahead and take this and cut it off as well. And this piece is going to go down. It's actually going to be trimmed just a little bit more. I don't actually want it to go over where the score mark is. I want it to be a little smaller so that this box will fold like it's supposed to. Same thing with the top. This is actually a little bit over that score line. Because this box is covered on the outside anyway with paper, what I'm going to do is right here and right here are the tuck spots for this box to fold. So what I'm going to do is take my scissors and gently push this to where when I go to fold it, it will fold in. If you feel like it's sticking, you can use a little bit more force. And in my case, it is actually sealed up a little bit. We're going to use an X-Acto knife to fix it. Okay, so here's the deal. When they made this box, they didn't take into account, I don't think anyway, that people would actually cover this puppy. So this here and this here need to be trimmed just a little bit. And I can't do it left-handed, so we're going to try to get this in frame. Start where the curve is. Same thing on this side, start where the curve is. Now I'm going to distress the actual paper itself, and you can do that a couple of ways. One is to just use some distress ink. The other is to use your paintbrush, and you're just going to want to wipe most of this paint off if it's really saturated. And then you're just going to go across the edges. You could also do this with brown paint, but since I have the black out, that's what I'm going to use. So this is how this box folds. This flap comes up, and this one comes up, and they all come just like this. So you're going to want to now this piece is going to come around the top and tuck into that little place where we made a home for it. And like I said, this is a tuck and close box, but because of all the layers that we have on it, we're going to be sure it stays stuck together and tucked together, so to speak. This will work better. And I'm pushing with my scissors to put that tab where it belongs. And as soon as I get it into place, okay, so here is what the box looks like now. It's going to have to sit probably a half hour or so before this glue really sets up. You really can't speed this up with the heat tool. Honestly, it just doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to work on what's going to decorate the top. Okay, now the box is put together, and I originally was going to use this chicken to decorate it, but he is too tall, and I really don't want him squished, so I'll use him for a different project. This particular paper pack does have cut-aparts, and I decided that I'm going to use this and let the orientation of the box be vertical instead of horizontal, and it opens and closes easily. I did have to trim this off a little bit more, and since the paint is still a little bit damp, I decided just to use my anti-static bag around the edges and on this flap, just to be sure that it is not going to stick. If there's any residue, you can just easily clean that away. There are some little spots right here that I noticed that I missed with my paintbrush when I distressed it earlier. Okay, so I'm going to finish this box off with some Fancy Dancy. Now these actually have holes for brads. There's no way I am going to sit here and try to put brads on at this point. I am, however, going to use some E6000 glue. We're going to be generous. I'm not sure if you can see how much I've got in there, but it's pretty darn full. And they sit on the edge of your box just like this. All right, I did a little bit of dry brushing, so to speak, on the legs so that the feet will blend in with the rest. And I'm leaving fingerprints, but I can easily clean those up with a baby wipe, which I'll do here in just a minute. I want to be sure that these are fairly consistent in their color. All right, folks, still pictures will follow this project. Here is the top. And you open it up and you can put whatever you want in there. Then there's the sides and the bottom. Now I want to give you a quick little tip. If your box is smelling like the paint or the glue or whatever, put a couple of dryer sheets inside and leave it for a couple of days before you mail it out. You can fill this with whatever you want. I do plan to make this for a friend, once again, an elderly friend. So I will be filling it up with just some greeting cards that I have made. Now, they're not going to be rustic at all. They're just going to be regular greeting cards like I usually make. If you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to my videos. Share them on your social media. Have a great day, everyone. Stay happy and be a blessing. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.